Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Huntermun, and this is more of Euro Truck Simulator 2. And I think I've done this correctly. We're in Karlskrona, in a borrowed truck again. So many borrowed trucks. We were about to just do a mission because we couldn't find anything, but I think going to Polaris Lines here in Oslo will count as delivering to the actual, like, not to the marina. The marina is something different. But I think that's where we need to go. Molly's here with the Hi YouTube. We are a little bit past the trolls earlier. Daniel is hanging out in the chat because he's having trouble reconnecting his third monitor. We'll see how that goes.
Turn left.
We'll see how everything goes.
Ready to turn right. Turn right.
This seems like a nicer truck. At least until I go inside and find out that the steering wheel is on the wrong side. Oh, whoops. Hold on. We made a little bit of money while sleeping. Let me just start the, let's see if we can get our new, driver to... Oh, man, we've got 16 trucks out on the road. Nice. Alright. We are going to go for man. Normally we do this at the end of a run when we make money, but right now we have money at the beginning of the run. So, buy online. The 99,000, purchase. We need a place to put it. I might need to expand that warehouse. Okay, we've got another slot over here in, I think this is Sweden. That one guy looked very happy to be here. Okay. We're trying to get the ball rolling on the money shenanigans, and we're going to be making progress on that as well. Alright. Huh. Well, what are you thinking, chat? We've got high value. We've got fragile. We've got timely. We've got one person with explosives of the first level. More value, more explosives. Valentino, huh? That hits kind of close to home. What do we think about Valentino, chat? Valentino's got flammable and combustibles and long distance travel. That sounds like a good combo. Of course, chat might have a delay. We'll see how it goes. Alright. Valentino is a family name, so we're going to go with Valentino, I guess. Alright, moving on. Onwards and upwards. Maybe we'll see Valentino make a delivery while we're doing this. Certainly got enough time.
At the roundabout, take the third exit.
At the roundabout, take the third exit.
Exit now.
I'm getting a little bit more practiced again. That's not going to stop me from speeding, because apparently I'll just keep speeding. Oh no, here I go speeding again. My next rest area is in... one more hour. Alright, I have enough to make this during this resting period. So we'll see if we can do that without getting detoured. Alright, we are hopefully delivering to the other port that is part of the achievement for Scandinavia. And there's a separate achievement for Marina, which I think I may have been tracking before, because on my tracker list, where I'm going to right now was marked off, and I assumed that I must have marked it off because I thought the achievements for Marina and Port were going to be the same place. But I now see that they are different markers, so I'm going to assume that that was previously... Hold on. Lights aren't on. Gotta be ready for them cops. Income, $5,000 from driver Tobias. Tobias is moving up in the world. Way to go, Tobias. You're making progress. Oh, good news, everybody. We are making a trans delivery. Isn't that special? Feels like the truck isn't the right colors for that, but you know. I cannot hear this truck shifting gears for some reason. It is hitting a particular frequency. Oh god, 70 through the intersection. Right? No, just 70 in general? Did they give me enough gas to complete this thing? I feel like they didn't. And since the gas is paid for by employer, let me not drive directly into traffic. Yeah, I'm gonna let that one go. But when you're doing quick jobs, your money is paid by employer, so we're gonna go back on the long span of going to different places that we haven't been before, and probably some other sitting. Though if oh, Molly, if you're still there. I was thinking, like, if those trolls were just gonna hang out with new names in the chat and not say anything, that, like, ultimately that's probably fine because they will count towards the people who are watching the ads, which will get me like another penny or two. Of course, they could just be waiting for my mods to vanish so that they can, you know, start being shenanigans at me again. But like, who's to say? Who is to say? Oh, 50? Okay, well, a penny might be overselling it. It might be less than a penny. But it's more, right? Imagine if I could have just 20 trolls constantly watching the stream who I can't hear because they're in moderation or whatever. That's one of the first things you do when you get a hate raid is you apologize to your chat. You're gonna figure it out, and then you immediately hit the button for ads, because that like 100 quote unquote people that exist, that could be like $1. You might as well hit some ads on that. Go for a long ad break and try and like do the mass banning and figure it all out, and just have that happening. Oh, was that? I missed who that was. I think that was the Daniel I have. What are we transporting? Caviar?
Keep right.
Keeping right. Out of curiosity, I'm always asking this, but like, how well can you guys hear the music? Because right now I'm not hearing the music. But I mean, like, when the music is playing, can you make out what is playing? Everything is fine. Did you even tell me I damage dinged? It's pretty quiet right now.
Turn left.
Okay. Let me officially pull out into traffic. So if Captain Soja or Daniel do want to jump into voice chat, we do have that as an option. I know this particular track is a little soft, so I'm not going to move it up too high. Just in case. The music like kicks in a second. Can't let you do that, Star Fox. I cannot make out the gear shifting on this truck. Oh, I gotta be aware that it's raining too. I always forget that in Euro Truck Simulator you have to like really, really come to a stop when it's raining. Otherwise, bad things will happen. So, finished Far Cry 6 the other day. Feel pretty good about that. Or was that yesterday? Oh, geez, I think that was yesterday. I'm having time dilation issues. Tomorrow I'll be restarting Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's going to be a speeding ticket. And it wasn't. Love Miles Morales? I mean, Miles seemed like a good guy in the first game, and I very much enjoyed his comic run, or what of his comic run I was able to read. Whoa, don't pull out yet. What are you doing? Man, I almost wanted to make some reference about No Way Home, but No Way Home is last year, so it doesn't meet the 3-year rule. He wanted that insurance money? Oh, the bus? Yeah. I mean, I imagine that'd be more like death, because the way they pulled out, they were preparing to just get the driver hit. Haven't seen the most recent Spider-Man movies? Any of them, or just the last one? Because his appearance is actually in Captain America: Civil War. Then his first movie is Homecoming. Have you seen Homecoming? Like, are you saying you haven't seen the recent trilogy, or you haven't seen just the last one? Any with the most recent Spider-Man? Damn, alright. Well, I would say Captain America: Civil War is a damn fine movie. Possibly one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's best movies. And that's the first time he shows up on stream. I mean, spoilers if you didn't know that, but that's longer than 3 years ago. See, here at Improvision Entertainment, we try to have a 3-year rule about spoilers when it comes to media and the rain. I almost didn't stop in time. I'm sliding. I almost just plowed through that sign. But that movie is long enough ago that I can let you know minor details like, surprise, Spider-Man shows up for the first time in that movie. Oh, I didn't know that, Molly, but also, it's just a premise I have. Some people think spoilers should go on forever. Other people are like, you know, thing has been out for like a week. That's fine that you talk about it. And I'm just like, no, because who knows when you're going to watch a thing. So, if you look at the, if you look at any of the videos that I like, or any of the stream stuff I do, unless we're explicitly doing something involving spoilers, like for example, let's say I was playing a yearly video game series. The last game in the series would happen the year before, so it would fit within the 3-year rule. If I'm playing that game on stream, then you can assume I will talk about spoilers about the last game in the series, even though it's more recent than 3 years ago. But otherwise, I try and be aware of it because you never know. Like, it's just one of those. It's me personally. I take big issues with spoilers. And am I gonna hit that sign? No. And since I have a real issue with spoilers, I am trying to give everybody else the same courtesy I wish people would give me when it comes to spoilers. I've been ruined by a couple of people I watch on YouTube who will just randomly talk about a recent game or a recent movie and just casually drop it into their vocabulary that they saw it and that a plot point happened or something, and you're not ready for it. You're not ready with the pause button, like maybe the controller is turned off or something, and you're not just prepared to hear that at that moment, and that's really upsetting. So I do my best, and with anybody else who joins me on stream also, to abide by the 3-year rule. Oh, future efforts were talking. So spoilers are okay with you, like spoilers are okay with Daniel? Well, I mean, we mostly talk on stream, Molly, but offline, sure, it applies. If we're talking in the, or not offline, but like in the Discord, it would apply there, sure. There's some spoilers I hate. I got a major One Piece spoiler last year, so that made me stop watching. Oh, geez, yeah. Well, the last one that hit me the hardest is going to be Austin doing the science on Game Theory. Not the Game Theory proper, but like the science show. There was, and it's old enough ago I could talk about it because it's longer than 3 years ago, but there was, we'll say, something dramatically changed about the ending of the remake of the second Metroid game when they remade it. And you probably know what I'm talking about, but like, just for anybody else, I'm not saying it just because this is a touchy spot at this point for me. And he was talking about, I don't even remember what he was doing the science of, but he just randomly drops the spoiler and video of the spoiler. Literally, like, after I had finished his video, I was going to be encountering that event, like 13 minutes later. And I always maintain that there's a threshold for spoilerdom where the more imminent a spoiler is, the more powerful the spoiler is that you're spoiling it. If it's something that's about to happen, and you give a spoiler, especially if it's a big surprise, like, that is absolute dick move quality. Like, that is way up there. The closer it is to about to happen, that you ruin it, so bad. You got a paragraph, though, so give me a second through this curve. Okay. Was an ep that had not been out for like 2 days. And you weren't too far behind. Wow, you're caught up on One Piece? Crazy. Alright. I know Captain Soja is starting One Piece, and I have been thinking about it.
Go straight on.
Miff with the spoiler. Hold on. It's pretty miff when where I was. The spoiler was about a very minor character that we hadn't seen in like 500 episodes, and now they're suddenly a plot point character and just made me mad. Yeah, you know, that, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Imminent. You just hadn't caught that episode yet. It was out, and it was kind of a big deal, and it was about to fucking happen, and that's the worst. Oh, hold on. Let's get gas. Just in case. We're probably fine on gas, but just in case. We don't need to sleep. We shouldn't need to sleep. So talking about major plot changes makes me mad, but not side story details? Oh, well, I mean... Again, for me, it depends on how invested I am. At this point, somebody could probably spoiler what happens in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and I probably wouldn't care. But, like, I might. It might turn out to be good. And if it turns out to be good, that'd be bad that they spoiled it. I'm not asking anybody to spoil it for me, but we'll get to it. My cutoff is I will absolutely be finishing Assassin's Creed Valhalla before the next Assassin's Creed comes out. That's my cutoff. And since another Assassin's Creed doesn't look like it's coming out anytime soon, I'm okay for now. But what you describe, because what is or is not major to somebody, right? For some people, it's like guns in a first-person shooter wouldn't be spoilers. Like, for me, that's the case. If you told me what guns were going to be in the next Call of Duty, I wouldn't care. But somebody might. Somebody might want to be surprised, right? In addition to you telling me the plot of, like, somebody telling me the plot of, like, Metroid Dread, I would also be upset if you told me what new weapons or what new items or any items were going to be in Metroid Dread. At least, you know, because
And then exit right.
a big part of Metroid, longer than the story has been a big deal, has been what cool items you're going to get and how you're going to utilize those items. So they are, in essence, like story spoilers for the purposes of what cool thing is going to happen in this game. What cool thing is... Get item. What item? Well, if you say so, it's spoiler. And it really depends on a per basis. So I just do full spoiler coverage, 3 years, anything I'm talking about on stream. It's just easier. And then I always try and throw out the apology if I mess it up, and I try not to push it if it's close. There was a time period, I forget what movie we were talking about, but there was a movie that had been out like 3 months and or 3 years and a month ago, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna. That's too close. Might as well not say it. Well, I says, I guess it begins because, like, if someone dies and someone tells me that they're not really dead, I'll probably be okay. But if a side character becomes a main plot character, it's just right. Spoilers are subjective. Exactly. Because, I mean, even for me, sometimes I don't necessarily know I'm really going to care about the spoilers of something before it like, I have a premise of, if you know what? Games Done Quick just happened. We were talking about speedruns earlier. So, if someone is speedrunning a game I haven't played, but I intend to play it, even if how they're playing it is like out of bounds and breaking stuff and going behind the wall and yada yada, all that stuff, even then, I will not watch that speedrun because I'm like, but I still kind of want to play that game, so maybe I'll get to it someday, so I don't want to know what happens. Like, oh, somebody leveled up, I missed it. I don't know. Spoilers. Obvious events, too, if they're confirmed, it's whatever. But if it's something left out of field, it's happening like it's set. Oh, right. So, one of my go-tos is when a seemingly major event appears in the trailer for the movie or the video game that you're trying to enjoy. If you want a prime example, and I say that without the Metroid joke because I could have said something about, there was a major character, if you will, shows up in like the second trailer for Metroid Dread that you would have no idea was going to be in that game until you met them. I'm not going to say what it is because it's still within the 3-year time period. But if you want the major, like one of the best examples, old movie trailers, especially Rocky. Rocky 1 trailer basically tells you everything that happens in the movie in the trailer. I don't know if they didn't believe in it, if they didn't think people would go see it. I don't know if it's just a different mentality of trailers, but you go back and you find the trailer for Rocky 1, not Rocky Balboa, Rocky 1, and you compare that to what actually happens in the movie, and they basically tell you the entire plot of the movie in the trailer. And it's not even a short trailer. It's kind of a long summary of what happens. It's kind of fucked up. This is the part where if I had an editor, I'd be playing the video in a corner of the screen for people to see while I was driving. Possibly over my face. But I don't have an editor. What I do have is air conditioning. Why is the air conditioning still going? It's 10 p.m. at night. I'm going to glance at my watch. Yoink! Oh, because it's 90 degrees outside. What the hell? That can't be right. No, that's battery. Oh, my watch is locked. It's just not telling me what temperature it is outside. That's so weird. Please? Hello? Watch? My watch has been acting weird ever since it got, like, in a pool. Hello? I was like, if it's 90 degrees outside, that makes sense why the air conditioning is running, but that is actually battery percentage, because I looked at the wrong corner of the screen. Hello?
Go straight on.
It's not telling me what temperature it is outside. Well, last night, Molly, it was like 3 in the morning and it was still 77 degrees outside, which is not that common around here. I mean, it is common for the summer. But I was trying to figure out last night why the air conditioning was still on. So if I looked down at my watch and it said it was 90 degrees, I'd be like, oh, we're getting closer to the sun. That's what's happening. What the hell? Oh, it's 82 degrees outside, Molly, so it's close to 90. Jeez. That's just as ADHD as welcome to YouTube. What about fear boners? You know, I'm glad you guys caught that because I still am not certain about the, like, I don't always think about what I'm saying at the beginning, very beginnings and very ends of the, and I probably should. For everyone watching on YouTube, I'm sorry I don't think harder about intros and outros. Hey, Windsock. Oh, three-dimensional Windsock. I thought for a second that was a 2D texture. "200 kilometers remain." It has character. Right. You gotta be real. Maybe occasionally exaggerated, but ultimately real. Like, what can I say? The furry stuff earlier, it's part of the fandom to be like, you have to make the distinction between zoophilia and bestiality. And it sucks that you gotta, like, break it down like that, but you're like, no, fantasies are fantasy, guys. Like, if a thing is a fantasy, it's a fantasy. It's not real. It's not happening. You're not hurting anyone. You're not hurting an animal. You're not hurting a thing. It's like, whatever. Fictional depictions are fictional, but, like, at the point at which you're involving real people or real animals, no. Now that's a crime. That's a crime now. What you've done is a crime. Anybody who's not watching this episode in order is like, what the hell bestiality? When were we talking about that? Yeah, well, I mean, you know, that's why you watch the playlist. Haha, haha. Like, I'm not super deep in the furry community, but I've seen enough of the furry community to know that I'd rather be in the furry community than be in plenty of other communities. I mean, we have plenty of communities in America that haven't gotten rid of Nazis as hard as furries generally have. Like, if you're a Nazi fur, we don't want to deal with you. Like, we just don't. Zoophilia is still an odd one to me. I'm not sure if I'm okay with that. Well, then we kind of pose the same situation, Molly, which is, but if it's just in your head, if it's not something you act on, then who's it hurt? If it's just a desire you have and you don't act on it and you don't hurt an animal, then what's the dealio? Is my perspective. I mean, you might not feel the same way, and that's okay. But I really come back to, does it actually hurt a real person or animal? And if it doesn't, like if it's all in your head, because, you know, I read 1984, and there are games that I've played which have involved thought crimes and stuff like that. Precog shenanigans from, what was that? Minority Report? Minority Report. Lots of people tend to eventually act out on their fantasies. Molly, I have fantasized about killing a number of people. And it's been 40 years, and I haven't killed anyone. In fact, I've only killed one poor creature, and I still feel guilty about it, even though it happened more than 20 years ago. Because I thought they were going to get out of the way. And I feel terrible about it. And that's it. That's my one... Damn it, I was just slowing down! Especially if it involves sexual desires. Well... I would argue no, Molly. I think a lot more people have a lot more freaky things in their head than they ever act on. I honestly believe that. I believe people are a lot freakier than they present themselves to be. And that includes the, if you don't act on it. Like, to me, you can't just think about doing a crime and be guilty, is kind of where I come at it from. Like, sexually or not, if somebody hurts another person, they are hurting another person, and that is a real person that they are really, really hurting. But if they just think about hurting that person, and they don't ever hurt that person or anyone, then I consider it fine. I'm still looking for like a video game in which I could play as a underdog hero that defends the poor and the impoverished and the weak, unable to defend themselves from cops. I'm actually looking for a cop-killing video game because I want to play out the power fantasy of actually helping people the way that cops hurt people. Now, am I looking to actually hurt actual cops? Or do I say anything about hurting actual cops? Regardless of how terrible things that they often do? No. But it's a fantasy, and it's a fantasy I would like to play out in a fictional setting, but not for real. I mean, obviously, people are fucked up, and they actually have ideas, like, all the shootings we have, those are actual people that are going out and doing bad things and killing people. But I'm not even convinced that all the people who do that stuff have something mentally wrong with them. I don't personally believe it's a one-to-one that you're insane and you decide to kill some people. Sometimes I think you just decide to kill people because you decide to kill people. And I think insanity is just an excuse. But this is kind of a unusual topic to be having, but we're having it. And I'm okay with that. And then there's a paragraph. And a tunnel. And a curve. Hold on a second. No thought doesn't make you... Alright, Molly says, no thought doesn't make you guilty, but when it gets comfortable, sometimes people expand their comfort zones. I am not saying it's a 100% thing, but it happens more than you think. I guess I see it more because of my previous lines of work. Now, I'm always forgetting your lines of work, Molly, and I apologize. I don't keep track of most friends' jobs, just to be clear. But I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, but that would be anecdotal bias. Like, if you're in a field of work in which, like, that's why I understand, like, why cops are kind of, like, always expecting everybody to be a criminal. Because that's all they deal with, is either actual criminals, which is sometimes debatable, or people that cops are always looking to make out to be criminals. And that's why cops have no problem lying on the stand against you. That's why they will plant evidence on people, because they're like, oh, surely this person has done something and they deserve this, so I'm not in the wrong. And I don't agree with any of that. I think you should be innocent until proven guilty, and I think that any proven guilty doesn't necessarily mean you're always guilty. Hey, Tobias, maybe 1.1k. Molly was a behavioral psychologist, did extensive social and economical research on... Whoops, almost swerved into another lane and hit somebody. Research on many topics. Half of them involve sexual experiments, eventually because humans naturally lean towards sexual desires. Absolutely innocent until proven guilty. Right. Like, for example, innocent until proven guilty. Everything I just said, either about cops or about zoophilia, bestiality, or anything I just said, that's all recorded. And I'm not going to not, to the best of my knowledge, I'm not going to not upload this to YouTube. So that means it's on the record. So if I ever did a thing in the future, you could look back in this and be like, well, the signs were there. But nobody can look at this and say, well, the signs are there, she definitely did something she wasn't supposed to, because the signs are not there for that, because I haven't done that. Like, and I get that, but that's one of those things about being open and honest and off the cuff about things.
Keep right, and then exit right.
Wait, keep right and then exit right? Okay, maybe if this person didn't come, so exit right now?
Right.
Alright, we're going to Polaris. Exiting in a tunnel. But, and I accept that as, like, you know, potential evidence against me, but at the same time, I have no intention of doing that or ever doing that. My interests do not go in any of those ways.
Get ready. Turn left.
Now, granted, we get ourselves a fascist dictator type situation going on, and suddenly talking about stuff is akin to doing a crime, well, I can't do anything about that, right? I'm completely boned on that front if that were to actually happen. Hopefully that won't happen. But it could.
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
Alright, we are arriving at our destination.
Exit now. We are finished.
Oh, you want me to just pull in? D button! Is that the other half? Did I do it? I did not get an achievement. I didn't get an achievement for that. I did not get an achievement for that. Alright, I'll have to look into that situation between recordings. For anybody who is watching later on YouTube, I would like to thank you for watching. This has been Euro Truck Simulator 2, presented by Improvision Entertainment. I've been Hunter Munn, and I will see you in the future. Oh, and if you ever want to catch on any of these discussions live on Twitch, the whole thing, twitch.tv/HunterMunn. Okay. Later.